All right, guys. I mean, I think I've put up with the two other videos just in the front. The first one that was obviously I left that up there basically as the pilot. The first one that was where the video was cropped due to the resolution being set wrong. But then I just put up the introduction video just a little while ago. Here we're on May 18th of 2018, about 11:30 p.m. It's a Friday night. Uh, I'm in New York. Um, we're on U.S. facing networks. We're talking about playing online poker in the United States, playing both online poker, live poker, everything. If you're new to the game, if you're new to online poker, if you're in the States and you're wondering, you're a new player and you're wondering what your options are, if you're an old player that's returning to the game, a veteran that hasn't played in a while, maybe, and you're coming back and you say, well, where do I start? This would be a good launching point where we're going with these videos and things like that. I'll grow as a player and hopefully grow as a video producer also over time. And but without further ado, because we've done some other things here, let's get into some meat and potatoes. Like I said, I have the two other videos up. They do kind of just introduce where things are going. So, you know, we'll get into more over time. But if we just look here, here's my HUD. And a lot of people like doing these videos on Ignition because everything's referred to as hero. And everything's just anonymous. I put my balance up here just to because I don't see I mean, I don't see any reason to not be candid and open about it. Um, but I deposited, as said in the last video, about 130 on this site, and I've gone up to 302 here. I've been as high as 325, and that was just the other day. Um, Poker swing, guys. I mean, there's a lot of variance in online poker because we see a ton of hands. The other players are seeing a ton of hands. Um, most players are multi-tabling, seeing several. They're playing on two, three, four, five, six, seven tables at a time, and the swings can be large. That's why we're playing at small stakes here. Now we're playing 10 and L tonight. Now that means that we're going to buy into the cash game at $10. Now, as maybe you'll see or we won't see, there's going to be people in there that have $3, $26. I've had stacks. I can show some hands in the database here where we had, I don't know, 300, 400 big blinds, 500. Yeah, the one time I had 49 dollars. So I had 49, I had 490 big blinds at 10 and out, meaning if you buy in at $10, that's 100 big blinds. So if I had $50, I had 500 big blinds. So you get deep. Um, we'll talk about that. These games on all of these US facing networks play much differently on different times of nights at different times. Um, I guess I was over here on my HUD and I guess I look back over this. But they Friday night isn't as good as you would think it would be. A lot of people are out Friday night. A lot of people, that's their night to go out. That's the end of the week. They're either crashed, tired from working or school or whatever else it is, and they're not going to do this tonight, or it's not, they're going to go out. And if they're going to do something tonight, it's not going to be poker. Saturday is different. Starting at about noon Saturday to about 6 p.m. Sunday is the best time to play online poker in the United States as U.S. player. Now, a lot of these sites aren't limited to just U.S. players, but I have access to four main sites: Bet Online, Ignition, Intertops, and Black Chip Poker. Those are the actual sites that I have money on. There's other sites, there's other things, but those are the four top ones that you have access to as U.S. players. There's different states that are disallowed from different sites. I refer everybody to the thread. Where can U.S. players play on the 2+2 poker forums? If you look up, do a search 2+2 poker forums, it'll take you from there. Look up the thread, do a search for the thread. Where can U.S. players play? That will, I mean, we're not going to waste time on here because that is definitive. That has a ton of stuff in it. I post in that thread. That'll direct you as far as sites, which ones are illegal for which states. But most states don't have any restrictions. So, but here I am on the Ignition network, and I looked at that, and I went back to show you, the balance and the people like it because it's anonymous. A lot of very recreational and loose players like it because it's anonymous. Um, so if I play 15 hands on the table, sit out, come back 20 minutes later, nobody knows who I am. Everybody is referred to by a number at the table, and that's it. So if we're multi-tabling, I don't even know if I'm sitting next to you on two tables or not, if it's the same person. It's anonymous poker. Not all US poker sites like this. This is the only site we have access to that is like this. But over time, as I do the series, we're going to be doing some other sites, and where everybody goes by their screen name. We have larger sample sizes on each other. It changes everything. Obviously, it's a different approach. Now, as you see my VPIP here, that means that I voluntarily put money in the pot 31% of the time. Now, that's high. There's a lot of limping on this on this network, this Ignition Casino network, especially Saturday and Sunday. So people say don't call from the small blind. Well, what if you have 10-1 odds and you have 6-7 suited? I mean, we're going to raise, and then the table's going to pull back around again. Well, this is a kind of strategy I'm trying to work on too. But different games play different ways, and but that's got to cut down. But my last few sessions have been different. And as you'll see, we'll pull this down just a little bit. But here's the time. Here's the tables. Like I said, I've been playing mostly 3 tables. I just stepped it up to about 3 tables tonight. For the video, we're going to do 2 tables just because I'm new to making the videos, and it's enough to go through it, at first. But we'll add things over time. Like I said, this will expand over time. But you see, my VPIP and my PFR are getting much closer together than they were in the past. The game's looser. I had to adjust from last weekend where it was ridiculous. That's when I had the 500 big blinds at one point. Guys were just stacking off with anything. To realizing it's not going to be like that every night on here. And the games got tighter. I lost a few buy-ins. I got back a buy-in. I go down a little bit. So I'm hanging in there, though. But overall, as you see here, in the overall, this month on Ignition, over 4,700 hands or so. I am winning at 7.97 big blinds. The EV is drastically different. And as I said, I in the last video, I've been bailed out on the river on all ends a few times where, it would have, in that small sample of 4,762 hands, it would have drastically affected the win rate. So, and that's the thing, variance is extreme in small samples. And I know people are saying, like I did when I was new to poker, how does 4,760 hands a small sample? Well, it is an online poker, like I said, especially when you think some people are playing 8 hours a day. They're playing on 4 tables at a time. They're seeing 200-300 hands, 400 hands an hour. Do the math. So I'm not on that kind of volume, like a real professional grinder online, but I'm stepping it up slowly over time. In the last week, I've played a lot. I don't think I've ever had a week in my life where I played more. So, one of the things that's tough to do is keep your mental game in poker, period. That's probably the toughest thing, especially when you're new, but all the way through. The mental game is difficult. It's hard. It's difficult to keep your balance. But the more you step up your volume, the harder it becomes. So I've overextended myself in a few spots where I maybe shouldn't have. But anyway, we're going to go through the HUD more over time. I want to get some gameplay footage on there just to get... I'm curious. I've been playing all through the day, but I'm going to be playing all through the weekend. Like I said, it's Friday night, almost midnight on Saturday morning. And, I'm going to be playing all through the weekend. I'm going to be putting videos up through the weekend and working on this. And we're trying to be profitable. We're trying to increase our bankroll. We're getting practice for $10 buy-ins. We may be moving up to 25 NL sometime soon, but not yet. I've overextended myself in a few spots where I looked at the hand afterwards. Not even afterwards, right afterwards. I sat there after I got stacked and I couldn't believe that I made the play. I don't want to move up in stakes until I'm not doing that at all. Or every great once in a while. But like I said, I've also stepped up my volume. There's also been a few spots where, I took some beats. But I have been running good overall. I cannot complain at all that I have the bankroll where I have it. So we're looking to increase our bankroll. I'm looking to increase my bankroll for live. I'm looking to increase my bankroll for online. I'm overall just looking to grow in the cash game and step up in the stakes and get better as a player and make money and learn the game. But we may expand to MTTs, multi-table tournaments or something at some point just because there is so much money in it. There's a lot of interest in it. They're fun. I don't see any reason to just limit my game to cash forever. But for right now, I'm focusing on the cash because it is so difficult today to make money. And just, you got to be working on your cash game constantly and with focus in order to steadily improve and even just to stay. where you're at. I mean, you got to be working on your game, but you got to put in the extra effort to improve. I mean, it's if people complain it's too tough today, there's no money in it. There is money in it. It's not too tough. That's subjective. It's tough, but I mean, what are you going to do? Not play because the games got tougher than they were 10 years ago? I mean, everything has an evolution. Everything has an ebb and flow. It could just as likely open back up again with new legislation. There's a lot of things that could go on. We'll talk about that in another video, but it's not all doom and gloom. But guys come on, and it's not as easy when they played maybe 5 to 10 years ago, and they complain. And I understand the frustration. When I started playing poker, my mental game could not have been worse. At this point, it's still got a lot to go. I mean, I'm only playing small stakes and micro stakes here. But there's people a lot worse off than I am with their mental game. And I mean, I understand. I'm not bashing it. Poker's a really difficult game, and to keep your cool is really difficult. But it's not all doom and gloom. And we'll go through that here. And as you see, I mean, I am winning, and I am by no means a poker professional or genius or anything. I've been playing on and off for about 4 years. The kind of focus and dedication I have to it now over the last 6 weeks is new. I've never played like this before. So this is new. We're going to be doing some videos here, but we'll just take a sip of my coffee. And what we'll do is we'll load up just 2 tables on Ignition Casino, and we'll just play some hands for half an hour or whatever and see what happens. Now, one of the things that's good with Ignition is, or bad, depends on your preference, but there's automatic seating. Which means I'm just going to press right here, take my seat. Bang. Now, I didn't pick it through a lobby. I don't get to see what games are running. Again, it's anonymous, so I wouldn't know who's at them anyway. Just numbers, but I don't get to see who's at them. I don't get to see how that game works or anything. But Drive HUD has a really cool feature, and that's the heads-up display that kind of gives me all those stats that I was talking about and everything. Here, we got a hand already. It's going to tell me the track conditions. It's got a little feature called track conditions. Okay. We're not going to do this. See this up here? We're going to sit out, but I just want to show you this. See this track conditions? This is going to eventually show us what the VPIP is, what the average 3-bet is at the table, and what the average size pot is. So we're going to get an idea rather quick, after several nights. But these tables at this level, I don't know why that went back down to 302. I thought that I just had that above that. But yeah, because I joined, a lot of times these tables are breaking up because what's happening is there's several tables running, but they're full. So when I joined the table, it's just, these are basically what I like to call fringe tables. So we're going to wait till we get a good table just here. But hopefully I sat out properly there because, I don't know if I was in the middle of a hand. But so we don't get to pick our game from a lobby. We don't get to pick our, things like that. But we don't have to wait for games usually. Like what I'm even going through here is unusual. It is because this is the highest population network, Ignition, that American players have access to. It's just, and it's good. But here, watch. Let's just see. Hopefully this works out. There we go. See, now we're right in a game, and we're right there now. One of the things that we suggest to do is wait for big blind. Meaning you're not going to take your first hand once you sit down at a new table until you're on the big blind. It gives you a chance to look at the table. This way you don't have to make a blind bet out of position, almost like a straddle, just when you first join the table. And it just, it was, at least when I started a few years ago, that was something that was heavily advocated. I guess, that's something that depends on the dynamics of the table, or if you want to just get right back after you've sat out. But when you first sit down, I recommend, I find it's best to. I mean, we get to see sometimes you'll be surprised, and just the first hand or two that you see while you're waiting, somebody will do something that really stands out, good or bad. So you want to be able to get a look at that. It's just more information in poker is always good information. You want to get information on people before you start playing hands with them. And you don't get a chance to do it, on them tables, so especially here. You just, wait for big blind. That's coming up on us next. The big blind's over here, obviously. But here's my HUD, and these are the different stats and things. I have heat maps set up through Drive HUD, where it's going to show me, there's the matrix of all the different starting hands, and it's going to show me what hands they play, what plans they just put money in with voluntarily, and what hands they enter the pot by raising with. Here's their 3-bet, fold the 3-bet, 4-bet, fold the 4-bet, 5-bet. So that's how I have that set up. Then we're going to get into things like aggression, C-bet. This is my HUD that I'm working on. There's eventually going to be a shop through Drive HUD called, I don't know what they're actually going to name the shop, but there's going to be a shop where you can develop HUDs, you can upload HUDs, you can make your HUD free, open source, whatever the case may be, apparently. Or you can also, like I said, there's going to be a commercial aspect of it too, where you can sell your HUDs and develop your HUDs. I've been working on this for a while now. It's called Rapala HUD. And I don't know, maybe some of you out there, depends on your age or what you do, but when I grew up, I used to love fishing. And there was a great HUD called Rapala. And for years and years and years, I'm sure they still sell it. I haven't fished for years myself, but I'm sure it's still great, because it always was. And I don't know if it's Finnish or Swedish, but it's a great lure. And it was called Rapala. That was the brand name. So this HUD is called Rapala because hopefully we can use it to catch some fish. We don't want to be a fish ourselves. We don't want to overuse the term fish until we're really competent in the game, but I just thought it was a catchy title. So obviously, Queen 2 offsuit from we're out of here from the small blind. I want to take this from the perspective that you at least know some things from poker here, but if you're brand new, the worst position is the small blind, basically coming in after the flop. So, your range of hands, the hands that you play from that position are going to be very tight and strong hands, and mostly getting at the pots by raising and 3-betting and things like that, so that you have that chance of them folding, and they call it fold equity, and giving you the pot pre-flop. Because you are going to be out of position. It's going to be difficult to realize your equity. It's going to be difficult to extract value. So, we'll talk more about position and things like that over time. In another second, I'll just add another table here. Once again, 4x is a kind of large, he's under the gun, he's first act. 4 times at these stakes is unusual. I'm opening right now 3 times from every position. I study a lot at Run It Once. Phil Galfond has advocated that at these stakes, and until we at least make our adjustments, but I haven't had to make adjustments from just opening 30 cents at 10 and L here from every position, even including the small blind, in a while. But I might. It depends, but I don't really. A lot of guys they don't treat 25 cents any different than 30 cents or 35 cents. And the 35, with a lot of guys short stacked, and just 30 seems to be a very good balance here right now. So, that's what I'm doing. But if I see a reason to deviate, to exploit, obviously I'm going to do that. And these guys are already tight. Loose, obviously, and this guy raises. But see this little thing here? This is called player X right through drive HUD. It's going to take notes. Because obviously as I'm playing, and if I added 2, 3, 4 more tables, I don't have time to do it. It's going to take notes on players. So I can refer to them quickly during the hand and get some, like I said, information that I wouldn't have otherwise, unless I had marked it manually in a post-session analysis. So we're just going to flip that down right now. So we're just going to stick to the 2, just for right now, the 2 tables, because, all right, this guy's really loose, and so are the guys behind me. So rather than 3-bet with this hand, because I am on the cutoff, I'm just going to call with the king-queen suited, hope he folds, and then I'll play it in position. But we'll add maybe tables over time. Because like I said, when I was on my own, I was playing 3 tables before. I think it's a 4-table maximum on this network, which a lot of people don't like, obviously. But, okay, so we did get to do this in position. And we flop a really interesting spot here for the first hand to play. I don't see any reason to raise when he's full there, but I do have kind of a nut draw, so let's see what happens. Pair of 5s. Let's see if he checks or if he barrels. With this draw, I really don't want to fold, I want to see the river. Like I said, these guys look loose. Now it's going to tell me where he's at. Can I fold? I don't really think I can fold that there. 10s and 5s. Okay, so he checks. That's like the board pairing on the river there is not very good. Just get out this. Like I said, I am certainly not a professional, and I'm new to playing poker on video in front of people. So, but no excuses. I like the fact that poker's difficult and challenging, and I like to put myself out there. So that's also why I'm doing this. I don't want to bet into this. The board's paired. I have no idea. Like I said, these are new tables. I have no idea what he's going to do. He's obviously got, what did he get? Ace high. Yeah, he got the ace kicker on a 3. So it's basically, But I didn't want to bet into that. It's very possible. Like I said, I mean, I know sometimes he's going to be just calling down there with ace high like that. But I don't have any information on him off the bat. We're going to do some videos on the other networks. I got 3-bet from this guy. I'm planning to do this video at night right here, but at this time of day or night, I would not be doing this on my own right now, playing here, just because the games are better for this time on Bet Online. But this is in general. I mean, nobody would argue that Ignition is not a loose network. It is. 10NL is soft here compared to a lot of other places that you can play. I mean, it's a very popular network because of that for obviously recreational players and good players alike. Now look at the differences too. Now you'll see this track conditions up here. It's all the way down, which means basically they're not good, which means the table's not very profitable. See, average price pot 70 cents. Over here, it's $3.57. Fold this, obviously. But but it's good to have, especially on this network when you're starving for information like that. Drive HUD is a great HUD because it identifies quickly. Okay, here's at least a ballpark idea, and we can begin narrowing it from there. So it's like I said, we're going to go over a bunch of different HUDs. There's all different kinds of software out there that you have access to, but the software is important, guys. In a video I'm going to do later on this weekend, if not even later on tonight, tomorrow morning, we're going to highlight some of the software that you can use to basically to study, to analyze hands, to get an idea of range construction. And we're going to talk more when we don't have to worry about playing. We're going to talk more in that situation about, off the tables, about what range construction really is. Okay, so I got the gut shot here to the bottom. What that really means. I know when you're brand new to poker, you have no idea what ranges mean. You think of hands. We'll talk about what that is. But there's software out there that can greatly aid you in your understanding of the game, your study of the game. A lot of it builds what it is intuition. So you start making subconscious decisions, especially when you're multi-tabling at things that you can see more hands profitably. This is just 59. I guess I'm going to call. I mean, this guy's really tight, but I do have the gut shot, which means yes, and there we go. So he might be. Let's see if we can check. I think he's going to bet river here. Let's see what his river aggression is. It's not on there. I'm going to try to see if I can check raise this guy here with what's basically the nuts. And this guy, but good. This guy I'm going to see bet with 5-5. I have 7, 8, 9, 10 jack. He would have to have. You know what? I don't want to do this. I just want to kind of close it out. But I think I'm going to raise him to the total to 3x his bet and see what he does. I don't want to give him a chance to bluff. But all right, now this guy check raised me from the blinds, and I only have the 5. I'm going to give up on this one over here. So he gets $3.36. See how I keep pressing this and going over here to fill up the money? They don't have auto top up on this network. So every time, if I want to stay at the buy-in, which is the $10 there, I have to keep manually topping that back up. On almost every other network, they have auto top up, so you can tell them, I want every time I fall below X big blinds, top me back up to X, Y big blinds. So, I mean, it's something that we wish they would. Now, this guy's really tight, and he played a good hand against me. I'm not going to, even though it is in position, well, I guess I have to call the Jack 10 in position. All right, and we do hit nice here. If he has Ace Jack, we're in serious trouble, but I don't see the reason to not bet. Like this here, we flop exactly what we're looking to flop here, obviously, which is the nut flush draw. I mean, obviously, the only thing that could be better is the actual flush, but we don't want to blow him off the hand just yet. So we're going to go like this, and that way he has $1 to contemplate. And we're going to bet 120 into there and see what he does, because we do have the jack. He is in the blinds. I mean, we do have to watch what, with the paired board, but I mean, we don't want to get crazy with the trips, obviously. I've done that. I've overextended myself with trips. Not a lot lately, but just once in the last several thousand hands. But again, I want to be careful here. He did seem tight. He did seem competent, but I don't know what this guy's actually doing. So we're just going to check back here, just because we really don't know what he's doing. Okay. He'd have to have. We have jacks full of hands. It's not really a good river at all here. Okay, so the pair of jacks, we did not hit what we want on this. Now, I'm not going to bet back into this to give him a chance to bluff. Any bet that I make is going to give him too good of a chance to bluff. I think we're good here. I missed this. I just have the pair of jacks. I'm going to fold his bet here. And on this table, I am definitely not going to bet into this board. Obviously, give him a chance to bluff. There's nothing that's better than ours that we could fold. And he gets, of course, the ace is full of jacks because he's got the ace. And like I said, that last card there was just terrible for us. So, of course, if I would have bet there, he wouldn't have folded anyway. But, like I said, it's not bad. It's good this time of night. When they're loose, when they're wild and everything, it can be swingy when when you have nothing really going for you, you're not getting the kind of hands you want. But like I said, I'm not a professional. Those draws, that draw on table 2, I could have played more aggressively, things like that. Like I said, I'm not a professional. I'm new to the videos too, so I'm not at 100% focused. But I like to win, and I'm studying and playing a lot more than some of these people are. Not all of them, but some of them. And I should be doing better with them. One of the things you want to make sure, if people see a high VPIP and they think right away when you're new, oh, well, that means the player's aggressive. It might not mean that at all. He's got a big gap between that and how often he raises when he enters the pot, and he hasn't 3-bet. And his aggression that's what you want to look at. We put these numbers in here in dry fight aggression, flop aggression, river aggression, to try to get a better idea. Like I said, we try to narrow the range of hands they're playing from that position in that situation. Let's see what I can do. I get the backdoor flush draw. We try to see their frequencies. Frequencies is something that we're always trying to establish here, in the sense that now he overbets pot. He pots it basically. So I don't know if I'm going to continue against this guy. Once again, I'm out of position, so I don't see any reason to continue with the backdoor flush draw. 2 overcards that are weak. Who knows? That flush, that card. I could have bet at another point in that hand. That was a tough hand actually against him before, but it's, like I said, it's really amazing how much the games vary. I'm going to definitely be doing videos tomorrow night, because that Saturday night I want to show you prime time on this Ignition network, because some of it's crazy, guys. Here we look at the VPIPs and stuff. This guy's 15, 15, 16, and this guy's 38, 23, 0. These are, for this network, these are look at these 3-bets up here. These are very aggressive. These are high 3-bets, 11% for this network at these stakes. That's very high. When you're seeing this and you're seeing people topped up full with their stack, these are people who what we call regulars. They're playing, not all of them, but some of them. It's more, let's say there's a higher percentage of regulars on right now than there will be tomorrow night, in the sense that these are people who play a lot. They put in volume, they pay attention to the game, they study. They're not recreational, just looking to have fun. They're looking to profit. So I'm just tightening up a little bit, because these guys, one, I told you I have had to make that adjustment a little bit lately, especially in a high-rake environment. And 2, because these guys are, be careful. Doug Hull over on Red Chip Poker talked about this. You want to be careful that not, there's a difference between a guy who plays a lot of hands and is bad and, overplays his hands and is just a fish, between a player who plays a lot of hands, gets involved in a lot of pots, but does so cheaply, doesn't go far with the hands. So you want to make sure that that is a lot of cases here, what we're dealing with these guys over here, with these stacks. And, so it's really, but like I said, on these Ignition tables where you don't know the other players, you have to ascertain very quickly who's who, what's what. It can be swingy, it can be, but overall, yes, it's profitable to play here, of course. But when I'm done with this video, and I at least wanted to get something up on Ignition, because it is the number one. It's the most popular U.S. facing network. So I'm going to get that up there. A lot of people are playing on there. Plus, it's got the anonymous and aspect to it, so at least some people can see what that's about without having to wonder, well, what does that really look like? Well, this is what it looks like. You know, I use player one, player two, things like that. Now I get as much information as I can, but I don't have much time to do it. But there's different, you know, sometimes on these nights you'll see these guys, because they're, as we said, regulars, they're going to put in more volume. So sometimes I've sat here and gotten 300-400 hands on each other, sat here for 2 hours, 3 hours playing with the same people on 3 tables or 2 tables or whatever over the years. And other times, you know, most of the time, other times and most of the time, you're going to get a small sample on these guys, especially when the games are juicier. There's guys that come in tomorrow night, you'll see it, and they're looking to, I mean, they expect to stack somebody in 10 hands, and if they don't, they just go in with what they have. They're drinking, or they're, you know, they're just gamblers. I mean, they're not like this. They're not actually studying, thinking players who are playing range. These 3 bets are very high in these games for this time of night, and as you see, the track conditions are terrible. It is not profitable. If it's not profitable to play in the games you're playing, you sit out and leave. Now, I'd probably do that at this point and hop over to Bet Online, because those games are pretty much all weekend. They're profitable around this time of night. Once we get more to like the 1, 2 a.m., things thin out, and then there's some more, same thing, aggressive regulars. Like this guy's 21, 21, 14. I mean, that's a really solid line. This guy's 61, 30, 25. You know, things are different. I mean, they're really loose and aggressive in a lot of cases today, you know, and C betting has changed. Continuation betting has changed drastically in response to that over time. We were just trying to catch our set. I mean, we're not going any farther with this guy. He's a competent player. Like I said, I'm not looking to get crazy with this time of night, just because, I mean, of course, I'll take what I can get or what's left there, but I want to play a little tighter than I'm used to, just because these guys are really, I mean, honestly, this is the most competitive lines, I think, the most aggressive lines I've seen here. I don't know what this guy's up to. See, we try to look here. He doubles out of position with air. That's always a sign. So we'll just call the 25 from the small blind here. Hopefully this guy folds because he's good, but he's probably going to 3-bet. And then we look. He's 3-bet with ace-8 off. So he's 3-betting a polarizing range, meaning some hands really good he's going to bet, obviously, and some hands that are not that good. I don't know if that's considered merge or polarized, ace-8 off, but okay. So this, Jack-4, I'm just going to fold this hand here, and I'm going to check out of position. That's another thing I have to start wondering is, you know, I used to donk bet more, you know, bet it into it out of position like this first in from the small blind stuff. Now, we have 36% chance to hit it from the river. He has not double barreled, though. Despite all of his aggression, he hasn't double barreled. So I have to call that with the king high flush. And there's an ace that makes one more chance. I'm not going to 3-bet this guy who's very tight. Now, again, this is the spot where I have to, you know, learn from some people here in these spots, especially against tight, aggressive players like this. Do I check raise here? Because it's tough to imagine he's going to fold. But again, if I hit that river, you know, that's what we call implied odds. Will I get his whole stack? Probably not. This is 1 into 3, so I need like 25%. I mean, I'm literally getting the direct odds. And of course, we didn't hit what we want here at all. So we just, you know, I think that was played too passively. I probably could have folded the turn there. I just wanted to see if I could see that one more, if I could hit that club. And then, you know, with the second nuts there, other than because of the paired board, I mean, I can at least start getting a little aggressive and play on the river. Obviously, we're folding to any bet here. I mean, he knows he's a good player. He knows I'm on the draw there. That's why I said I'm not really sure how to handle that. You know, on prime times, there's guys that'll just fold. These guys are not doing that, obviously, so. Now I'm down a few bucks already. And the one video I made, of course, that was out of focus. We were having a great session and we were moving along and everything. You're not really supposed to look at money and your balance and how you're doing during the session, unless you want to, you know, you want to make sure that you keep a track of the table and that you're not, you know, it's totally unprofitable to you, but you're not really supposed to look at money during the session. You don't want to let money, you don't want to let winning, losing influence your decisions. In poker, all you can do is make the right decisions. And it's all about expected value in the cash game. What is the expected value of the decision. Am I making money or am I not making money by this decision if I make it, let's just say 100 or 1,000 times in the same spot? And how much? Am I losing or how much am I winning? And that's what your decisions have to be made by. Of course, easier said than done. When you're losing, it becomes difficult to keep making sound, rational decisions. But you get experience with this over time. You know, the more that you play. Let's see if we can get something on the bottom there. I mean, I can't fold every single big blind there, too. My big blind play overall, I mean, is that I don't 3-bet enough from the big blind. I'm a little uncomfortable in this environment, obviously. I'm playing I'm making the video, of course, with difficult tables to profit at, obviously. And this is, not a good night for me to be promoting. Well, it's so easy to make money at, but. If you avoid the absolute prime times. But even here, I mean, what do we want, $7 or whatever? That's what I'm saying. You can learn a lot about poker, even at the worst night. But playing in these games like this will make it easier to extract value from guys that are weaker. From guys that are really loose and that they'll go far with hands that don't really have any value or strength or, playability on the next street or, whatever the case may be. But of course, the other thing here is the small sample sizes. You don't want to react much to small sample sizes. And as I was saying before, even the 4,000 or 5,000 hands I play, it's nothing. I mean, there's guys that play that a day. I mean, I don't, at full ring tables where they look, multiple tables at once. I mean, it depends on what you do. There's Zoom poker today where the tables move along very quickly. That's something about Ignition. The games move along very, very slow compared to like Bet Online, which we'll see at some point, which is almost like turbo poker. And they have a fast fold poker too, so I can only imagine what that's about, But this is yeah, I can't remember seeing a more aggressive game at 10 and out here since I've been playing. I've been starting to put a lot of volume as of around Easter in the cash game. I hadn't played it for a few months before that. I was playing a little bit on the New Year, but I've never played like this before. And I'm playing super tight here against these guys just because they're 3-betting so wide. I mean, it's so often behind me. I mean, King Jack is a hand that would be dominated by a lot of the hands that are going to 3-bet me that I want to call. And in this environment, like I said, I don't want to get crazy with this and everything I'm making this video, but these are difficult when you're sandwiched between guys like this and they're deeper than you ever. But, it really, guys, this is an outlier, But, yes, the games are obviously much tougher today than they used to be in the past. I never got a chance to play when they were really that soft, the pre-Black Friday days. I've seen tons of hands from that day. I mean, I have an idea now, but I never got a chance to play like that. And we're just trying to hit a set. They're obviously going to fold to a continuation bet. Although, let's peel one. He might have the king and be afraid to bet again. But if he's betting that small again, now I have to get off it with the 7. See this here? They show you, that's called the rabbit card. They're going to show you when, like I fold there, we don't get to see it ever in poker. Well, here you do if you turn it on Ignition. And it's going to show you what the next card dealt would have been. So, I think the intention is one, it's interesting, it's fun. But two, it also creates a looser environment. People say, oh shit, I would have hit my draw. If I would have played this, I think it encourages people to chase a little bit more. It makes the pots bigger. I mean, all of that. So, but I mean, even here, this is the tightest I've had to play on this I can remember. And I mean, I'm just, I'm not getting a lot to play with, obviously, but it wouldn't matter. The point is that these guys are playing aggressive. And I have to open ace-9 suited from the effective cutoff, basically. There's nothing I can do about that. It's really interesting. Poker's really, it's like, in a lot of regards, it's like baseball with the sample sizes being so large and that crazy things happen. Guys, I haven't seen pocket aces in thousands and thousands of hands. This is the longest stretch I haven't seen pocket aces in since I've been playing poker. And it's all on my hands. I mean, there's a lot of hands that I not see it. And, but on a few of the pots that I've gotten the money all in with in a couple of cases, what turned out to be players that were probably better than me. I got lucky on the river a couple times, and what I made sure I did was learn my lesson from that river, from that hand, because realizing how lucky I got that I got to learn a lesson about the hand. Plus, win the pot, which is, usually you don't get that kind of an opportunity. Um, yeah, these are interesting spots because these guys are really aggressive and these are multi-way putts. I'm on the big blind. Obviously, I have to call with ace jack, but I'm going to be obviously getting out of this relatively soon here. I don't want to check raise in here. And we'll just go on with the 2 ways to the flush here. I don't want to go. Yeah, so I'm going to have to just check. I mean, I'm just not hitting the board at all, obviously. So, see what I'm saying about being out of position? He's last to act. He can get value because we've already indicated that we're not as strong as we may be. Now, even though we're on the blinds, but, that's all beginner stuff. I'm not going to call, obviously, 5 big blinds into there with just queen high. I mean, the queen kicker. I don't know how long this video's been running. I'm going to check. Like I said, I want to be doing videos all weekend, so I want to pace myself. And, one of the keys, and people will tell you this is, I mean, at times, I believe you should be playing with players better than in games that are tough like this. I think it's a good experience, especially on video here. It's making me a better player doing this. There's no question about that. But over time, you obviously want to target trying to play with players. It's just folded 3-bet. You know what? I'm going to 3-bet this hand to $1. I'm not calling that, obviously, with ace high. All right, that's what we did. But of course, over time, you want to be generally trying to play with players who are better, who that you can be profitable against. You want to play in games that are profitable. So that's what's good about being a member of 3 or 4 or 5 different networks is you can hop around all the time. It's like being in Vegas, just jumping from casino to casino. Now, see how this guy just called the big blind? It's called limping. He's limped 4 of 13 times, but he hasn't folded, limp folded. That means nobody's raised. So we're going to just jump this up. These guys are deep to 40 big blinds and try to be somewhat aggressive here on the button, obviously, because we got position. I mean, one of the keys at these stakes is raising up limpers. Now, one of the strategies some guys do is they limp with strong hands from early positions. So now you say, all right, they're weak. I raise to 40. He raises to 120. I call in position. But overall, it is not a profitable strategy. Again, I am not master. I am not an expert, but I know enough. Some people have already seen some of these videos really quickly and asked me about coaching and stuff. I don't coach yet. I just play. I play. I study. I mean, but I'm certainly open. I know a lot of you guys that are going to see is going to be playing 2-L. So, like when I remember when I was at 2-L all day, every day for months and months and months, this looks like a ton of money on the table and everything. It's, like I said, with the software, with the HUDs, with the video programs that are out there, things like that, you can get yourself up in stakes. I mean, you don't need tons of money to get started and everything, but it's not super cheap, but the investment, once you start learning how to play, and that's what's good about having a 2-L, a 5-L, is for not a huge investment, you can get a lot of experience, and we know it. The games are tough today. Well, it's good experience then. So overall, it's what we like to call EV. I mean, it's plus EV. It's over time because I mean, I've never played live poker yet, but everybody's showing me hands over time, and I'm watching videos over time. It's obviously much easier at 1-2 live poker than it is at 25 and L online. Obviously, much. So it depends on the network. WPN's a network that's very, very challenging and difficult. That's, a winning poker network. Some people playing 25 and L, they say it's harder than 2-5 in the casino. I mean, so that's a $500 buy-in. So I want to start, I have my bankroll almost to where I can start playing live. Where I live in the Hudson Valley, north of New York City. There's a lot of casinos that have opened up recently. There's casinos that are opening up in the future. Live poker is definitely thriving in my area, and overall it is. So I want to be playing there as soon as possible, obviously, but this is only helping doing this. I mean, in other words, there is no losing session right now. Even when I lose, I'm winning in the long run because I am learning a lot and I am winning overall. And now I'm doing these videos and teaching and talking, and I'm going to be joining a study group soon here. So when you immerse yourself in things like that and you hit it from all angles, that's when you get results. But the main thing that people are gonna, the first battle everybody's gonna discover is the mental game. It could be very frustrating at times. Of course, the thing, different things tilt different people, but people don't like when they get the money all in against somebody else or two other people as a clear favorite, and the guy hits on the turn of the river his miracle card, his one card in that deck that would help him, or things like that. You want, you'll learn over time to embrace situations like that. If the guy's getting it in light, that means over time he's profitable. It's good that there's players like that in your game. Again, much easier said than done. It takes time to learn this. This guy's got this crazy 3-bet still, so I'm not going to try to steal. I usually steal, like, chronically against some of these guys. He's got 2 out of 2 fold with 3-bet. I'm not going to do this from the small blind, though, in case he does. Again, it'd be very difficult to extract value anyway. I don't know what length we're at here. I think it tells me here, recording 45 minutes. Now, we're going to go a few more minutes here, just because it'd be nice to just hit one hand, before we're out of here. But, I'm down, like, a buy-in. But, like I said, I'm going to be making other videos and things like that, but I wanted to start getting this going this weekend, and I put that other video up. We had issues with the cropping, and, I wanted to start getting this going the right way. This guy's taking a long time to think, which usually means he's going to 3-bet. Since he didn't, that means he's probably multi-tabling. These are really deep stacks, and, difficult players to see at these games. All right, so maybe we'll wrap it up after these kings here. We know what we'll do is we do sit out next big blind. So the next time the big blind hits, which is next hand, we're going to sit out next big blind, and we'll be done. And we only played the 2 tables this session, as we had said. So this guy was just going to raise in. That's the thing about every single hand that we've raised the same size. Nobody has any. We're not disguising the strength of our hand. And this is interesting here too. What do we got? One guy, he checked to me. I'm going to go like this. Obviously small. I want to get called by him with something that's not a queen. All right, this guy did this now. He 3-bets us. Now, I have not had kings either in a very long time if we run in these, but you always want to get kings in pre-flop, obviously. We won that pot. I didn't want to let that go any longer. Now, by waiting, maybe I'm thinking there's only one hand in the deck. There's only one combination of hands that's better than me, but we're not going to go. The pot's 130. I want to go. I don't know exactly what I want to do. Another time bank hit. Where's his flop? Like a pre-flop aggression. What is he 3-betting with? We're going to go up to, if he's betting like $1. I think he says just by the sizing, but I'm just going to get it in. I have kings. That's just interesting sizing from the small blind for a 3-bet. Yeah, he just folds. I probably should have 3-bet there. I couldn't figure out exactly what size to go to in that situation, and I was obviously looking to get called. Now here we got 8 pocket 8s. We got this. At least we came back a little bit. And he put a little smiley face up there. I don't know what his issue is. He obviously would have folded to I'm sure he would have folded to a 4-bet. Now I'm out of position. He checks to me. We're just going to do a standard c-bet here with the pocket 8s, obviously. We took that down to the side. Okay, so we're sitting out on this table, and we'll leave after this. We'll be sitting out on the next table after that, and then we can just go from there. One of the things I wanted to do for Jarvis, see if you could do is you can shut off. So when I look here, I can at least look at the last hands I've been dealt on the right side, and the last several hands, 1, 2, 3, 4 hands, and things like that. But without looking at one lost amount, because you don't want to pay attention to that during your sessions. It's not good for your thought process. All right, we're going to sit out here. I see these are unusually tough games. They'll start loosening up a little bit as we get into. We're now on Saturday morning. They'll start loosening up. That was good for me, and it was good for the video just to see. I'm actually kind of happy it worked out the way it did. If you see things I should do differently, my own leaks and things, better players educate me. I'll educate players behind me. We can get a community going. We can start talking because, it's 2018. It is what it is with anything. If you want to get involved in poker, this is the place to start, and this is how you do this, and you start to learn a lot. But I'm also going to do some videos that are more ground up for people that are brand new, you know, so that they're not overwhelmed and that they can really take it slow and just play 2-0 and learn. But we're sitting out obviously on both tables, so we're just going to leave the table. Leave the table. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to go over here to just showcase. Now we're going to flip on that just to refresh what happened here. Okay, so we have... Okay, so we lost $7.69, which doesn't mean anything over 79 hands. But I could have played a couple of those hands differently. I was doing the video. It means nothing. The point is that our HUD here can track, like I said, everything. I mean, it's so detailed. You can make it as simple or as complex as you want. This video is starting to reach its length for just this video. I can do longer videos later this weekend or next week. But I do want to talk about the HUD for a second, because this is Drive HUD. It's through Ace Poker Solutions. There's other HUDs you can use, but like I said, this one's very good. This is the best HUD you can use. It's like built ground up for ignition. It's good. You see how I had in the next video, I'm going to talk more about what stats I have up there and things like that. You can customize this any way you want. But right here, we're just looking at the database. And we're looking at like all the statistics of how I played for that session, previous sessions, and my overall. But we played 27, 15, 3. We folded the 3-bet, obviously 67%. I mean, it's not, you know, it was difficult. As we see here, went to showdown, only 14%, 1 minute showdown at 0. I mean, I think I was being bluffed in a few spots. I wanted to be tight. I didn't want to just give up money, but I also wanted to be, you know, fight back. I mean, you want to do. But like I said, when you get to the weaker days and things like this, some players are going to get very aggressive, and it's not going to be a game like tonight. They don't have it. In a lot of these cases, these guys are being aggressive. They had good fold equity, and they're playing in position, and they also do have good draws, and they already have, like, you know, top pair. They know how to play, and they know what hands to start putting money in with. You know, there's other nights, like I said, these guys just want to sit down, and if they don't stack someone, you know, win a buy, and in 15 minutes they start tilting, they go nuts. There's other players that you'll see, like, again, like, hey, you know, we're doing this all day and night and everything. We're not going to go nuts over a few bucks here and there, and we don't think, you know, we don't look. If you're winning at 3 big blinds per 100, and we'll look over here, I'm winning over what 4,841 hands this month. I'm winning at 6.25 big blinds per 100. What anybody would say is, yeah, and you have to be happy with that win rate. I'm not, because I've left, you know, I've made a lot of mistakes and everything, but. You see, and there's times you're playing when it's not optimal. It doesn't matter. The win rate is what your win rate is. It's 6.25. Great. So over 4,841 hands, I've won $30. That's really winning. These guys expect to win that like a night, like every night. Like, they don't understand. Some of these guys do not understand. And that's the guys you want to get in the hands with. That's the guys you want to target at the tables. Like they said in Rounders, you know, you don't see sharks eating each other at the Discovery Channel. You obviously don't want to shy away from aggression or playing big hands against better players, but you're looking to get the pots, and you're looking to 3-bet, isolate, and in position, you know, worse players, the fishy players, and that's where a lot of profit can come from. I mean, you can make your whole week on one night like that. So, I mean, you want to, you know, we'll talk about more things, but we're getting this going. We're looking at our stats. We're getting an idea of the HUD. We're getting an idea of the networks. We're getting an idea of, you know, we'll talk more about deposits and things like that, so that you get an idea of how to get started. But at least we got off and running with a couple of videos tonight, and we can start. You know, I'm getting more comfortable, and you're talking. You get familiar with my voice. You guys give feedback. I'll give feedback, and we'll just go from there. But I'm going to wrap this up for right now. And this is Joe. Again, I will be doing this regularly, so you know, you'll be hearing from me. You'll be seeing my videos. And I appreciate everybody who watches. And like I said in the last video, constructive criticism always welcome, of my play, of my, you know, my anything how I talk, anything. We want to make this better and better and better, this channel, over time, and that's the way that things get better. Is people tell you what you're doing wrong and you adjust. It's the same thing in poker. So it's now Saturday morning on May 19th, 2018. I hope you guys are enjoying the start of the weekend, and I will be doing another video soon. Take care for now.